Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I am Jyotsna Mohan with my partner in crime and much more, Manika Raikwar. We're back with episode 3 of Vakra Swag.
Hello, hello, hello. Today we have someone who is spunky, she's courageous, she's outspoken, and if she's on this show, of course, she has loads of swag.
Well, she is a Khan. She's also part of Bollywood royalty. She is Sanjay Khan's daughter. She's Feroz Khan's niece, but she is a warrior in her own right. Today, we welcome Farah Khan Ali to our show.
Farah, thank you so much for joining us today. I really, I was so intrigued by your tweet that came out recently where you said, I'm disappointed with the fraternity tweeting identical tweets. That makes it more like a marketing gimmick. Whatever the reasons, I'm no one to judge. At least you could have tried to make it more original. Now you've given yourself away. Real life heroes versus real life heroes. And I have to say,
Really?
Because seriously, even I think a lot of us had the same reaction that we're not here to judge you. I mean, you can have your own position and that's perfectly fine. But can you try and sort of put in, even if it's not originality, some of your own bit into it? Because it did seem like such a marketing gimmick that someone's handed you a piece and you've just gone and, recited it word to word.
But what actually came through those tweets is one, of course, is that it had to be a marketing gimmick because it was a cut, copy, paste. But it also, what really came through and what the government didn't pay attention to was that none of those that they approached were really interested in the context of what the government was saying, because they did not try to be original about it. So the cause was not close to their heart. When they tweeted identically, they just did as they were told. And so I think that's something to pay attention to, that why are they doing that? And why is it that they don't question the powers that are asking them to do that? And I got thinking about it, and then I realized that maybe a lot of these people have a lot of people that they are responsible for, people who they take care of in the industry. And so if they go against the establishment, they are actually going to be endangering the lives of many people who they support. So and that's one of the reasons I think some of them would have cut, copy, pasted. I also think that the ones that did not get into this or have chosen to be mum all this while and not question any government, it doesn't have to be BJP or Congress. I believe as citizens of India, it's our right to question the government, because that's what a democracy is, to question the power so that there's no authoritarian power and power is balanced among the people. And I think the ones who kept quiet and didn't jump into this bandwagon of things, they also did not want to get involved. In India, you always have this thing: why should we get involved? Because if we get involved, they'll drag us down. They will get dig into our past. And let's be honest, everybody has a past. Everybody has skeletons in their cupboards. But I guess that it's okay to be quiet when it's not such an big issue. But I think it's very important to have a voice when there are millions protesting and there are millions demanding their rights. I think it's important at that point to ask the government, why can't you sit down with these farmers? Why can't you hear them out? Why can't you listen to what they have to say, and not just pass your laws in parliament without a proper discussion and without proper dialogue? And that's what I was against. Because I'm not for violent protests. I believe that dialogue is something that can solve everything. And I also believe that we need to be in dialogue with a government that listens. But today's government does not listen to you. They don't want to listen to anyone unless you are in agreement with them. If you're against them, you're anti-national, you're a terrorist, you're a druggist. And that's sad because we are not like that. We don't think like that. We want the best I want the best for my people. I want the best for all of India. I don't look at myself as a Muslim, or or an elitist, or a wealth creator, or a nationalist. I look at myself as a citizen of this country, and I look at all people equally. And that's what drives me to comment. Uh, and that's why I speak, not because I'm joining politics, because to be honest, I'm never going to join politics. It's not on my agenda, and I won't. But I'm just expressing myself as a citizen of this country, and I think every sane voice should, because these days every insane voice is inciting people, talking nonsense, trying to create riots and infighting amongst our country people. And I'm a firm believer of unity of India, because India only will stand tall if we all united. Divided, we're going to fall.
So when you were, Farah, talking about what drives you, you come from a very large family, extended family of cousins as well.
Right.
Is this, and they've, by and large, they've kept quiet. We haven't heard much from them, and we understand to each their own. But is there any part of dinner conversation that it's allowed, or, it's like certain things are taboo and off the table?
So a lot of my family is not very into politics, and they're all creative people. And I'm the more outspoken one. I'm the firebrand, and I always have an opinion. And they always tell me, it's nice to have your opinion, but don't get so involved into politics, because it's a different game, ball game. But I'm no one to judge either my family or the people who don't speak up. Like I said, everyone has a reason why they don't. But I believe that if you can make a difference, and if your voice can help someone, I think personally you should. Because maybe I'm not a superstar or a rock star or someone who can make that much of a difference. But I think I, as a voice collectively, along with other sane voices who want our country to prosper, who look at the unity of our people, I think all of us together can make a difference. The power of one is not the power of one. The power of one is the power of all put together that make the one. And so yes, each to their own. My family is not very politically. They don't get into politics. They don't get involved. They never have. I have. Not wanting to get into politics, but I've always spoken up. So each to their own. Again, I can't say anything for anyone.
Manika, I've seen your tweet today, though. Sorry, go ahead, Manika.
I just wanted to say that I actually find it fascinating. And you said I'm not a superstar, but I think for a lot of people who follow you and get inspiration, you are. That's one. But other than that, it's people like you and sort of, the younger celebs in Bollywood, let's say a Tapsi Pannu or a Swara Bhaskar. Of course, Nasir Saab has now come out, and spoken. And these are people who, again, unlike, the big stars, don't have massive followings, but they've chosen to sort of say their piece. And when I sort of, take that and juxtapose it with, let's say, a Meryl Streep in Hollywood, where on a very public platform, she called out Donald Trump. And I just find, what I really wanted to know is, where does the courage come from?
So I think I speak from my heart. And I've always believed and grown up to be the person. I believe that it's better to be honest than to win a popularity contest or a popularity vote. It doesn't matter to me how many people agree with me, as long as my conscience is clear and I'm fighting a cause and I'm speaking up for someone whose voice cannot be heard. I will speak up. I will voice it, because one day I will be probably, what if I'm in that person's position and there's no one who speaks up for me? So it's important to stand up for people whose rights are taken away from them, or whose rights are being threatened, because I strongly believe that we are all born equal. Whether you're a sweeper or a billionaire, a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, a Sikh, I believe that all of us are equal. And when society tries to divide us, over anything, whether it's politics, religion. We must come together and we must fight and we must make our country great. And that's the reason I speak up. I don't speak up for any other reason because, a lot of people say you should join politics, you'll make lots of money, you'll have power, you'll have fame. But I don't want power. I don't want fame. I don't want money. I just want people to be happy and I want to care for those that need us to lift them up. I want to help them come up. And if someone's going to go after me for doing that, then I have God to protect me and I don't care. So I'm fearless. What can I say? I was born that way.
No, I think it's fantastic, and I think we need so many more people, like you, who are standing and true to power kind of scene. And you've done that. You've done that. Whether you've reported Kangana's sister's tweet, or you've taken on Kangana herself, or talking about what is right, wrong, or even today, as I was saying.
But Jyotsna, there's so many good people amongst us. Look at Ravish Kumar. You just interviewed him recently. Look at the others on our platform. Whether there's Swara, whether there's Tapsi, whether there's Richa, whether there's Sushant Singh, whether there's so many people who are actually speaking up. And I feel proud. I come in a country where I don't only have all the Muslims speaking against this whole thing that's happening, but I have Hindus who are amazing, who are basically think about the larger picture in this country. And I love that. I love the fact that I come from a family where we have Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Parsis, everyone, we're all entrenched. We celebrate every festival. And we have never spoken ill of any community, and I never will. And so I say, hats off to India. I mean, look at the countrymen of my country. I would never be able to live in Saudi Arabia. Neither would I be able to live in Pakistan. I'll be very honest. Yeah. I love this country for what she stands for, the cultural diversity. And I don't want India to become another Pakistan or a Saudi Arabia. And the rate we're going, that's what's going to happen if we don't put a stop to this. And we say that this is our country. We want to be one, but we want to be with all,
Yeah, but does the trolling get to you at some point? I was recently reading a tweet by this Middle Eastern a reporter in the Middle East, and she said the kind of hate on Twitter in India is not, even the ISIS was not so bad. I could have taken that, but she said that one tweet I put on India and the kind of hate and venom I got was unbelievable. So does it get to you some days?
So initially, when I was on Twitter, and people started trolling, and I do get a lot of trolls, I realized that they're a bunch of sad people because they basically don't have, normal rights, homes, food, the rights that every Indian should have. People in India have a lack of everything. So they're angry with the system, they're angry with the past government, they're angry with maybe the present government, they're angry with, anger stems with a lot of, just not liking what's happening. And I realized that, okay, let me not engage with them, because if I don't engage with them, I don't have to stoop to that level, and I don't let that affect you. And so I learned to ignore that, and I learned to mute. And I have to tell everyone on Twitter, the best button on Twitter is the mute button. So I always tell the trolls, I said, you can hear my bullshit, but I don't have to hear yours. And that's what I do. So I actually end up muting all of them, and I just don't read them, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. So yeah, I'm also another thing. I'd be honest. I've always lived my life not giving a damn what another thought of me. So every time I get a troll, I'll have trolls talk. They'll talk about Akil's arrest in Dubai with some drug charge, or they'll talk about an alleged, they'll talk about the Zinat Aman factor, where they claim that my father beat her, which is not true in real life, because my father never laid a hand on his children, his wife, and he doesn't believe in laying a hand on his on any woman. So. But the rumors will always remain because people like to believe what they want to believe. So the fact remains that they think they affect me by saying all this. It doesn't affect me because I've grown up in the industry. I know that if there are going to be people who will praise you, there'll be people who will try to criticize you. And because of that, I developed a thick skin. So when the trolls come after me, I just let them vent because I feel poor things. Maybe they can't afford a psychiatrist. Maybe they like to abuse me and feel better. So be it. Yeah. So that's what I
So,
do.
so it's a service you're providing,
Yeah.
therapy on the side. No, it's
Right.
so interesting what you said, Farah, about that Indians have this thing, ki, why should we get involved, right? And
Right.
you're so right. It's like, yaar, isme nahi padna hai. It's that very thing. Again, you've grown up in the industry. I mean, you are in so many ways part of those big industry families. But sometimes, I mean, forget the trolling. Do you think within you get that angst that why don't people around me, these people with such power who can drive opinion, who can actually sort of set things right, maybe by just one statement, why don't they speak up? And again, do you not think that yes, each to their own, but should at some point, I mean, there should be some crisis of conscience where you say, okay, I am going to stand up for what matters.
I completely agree with you. If you go back into the past and remember when Amir Khan or Shah Rukh Khan spoke about intolerance at that time, and if I remember clearly, correct me if I'm wrong, the Congress was in governance at that point, and not the BJP. And the Congress did not let did not come to the help of Shah Rukh Khan or an Amir Khan at that point when they spoke about the intolerance. They let the VHP and the RSS attack them and pull them down. And so when a superstar like Shah Rukh Khan and Amir Khan are being pulled down and no one is coming to help them out, then the other stars think, why should we come forward? And as you see, a lot of it is, I believe, a kind of a quid pro. Like today, Salman Khan, he can open his mouth, but he's being very diplomatic and saying, but I believe the right thing should be done. But do you blame him? He has so many cases against him. If he opens his mouth, they're going to pull him down with all the cases. And more importantly, the man is responsible for looking after millions of people in the industry that nobody knows about. He actually pays for everyone's education, everyone's livelihood, so many people. So the moment he is attacked, all those people are going to actually be attacked. So a lot of people don't speak out because not because they don't have an opinion. They don't speak out because if they had the opinion, they put into danger a lot of people. And I'm sure that a lot of people feel that they need to, but again, only they know. The wearer knows where the shoe pinches. I don't know. I don't know the story, and I don't know why. But coming back to the tweets of the people who did tweet recently saying India against propaganda, I want to tell them, if you Google the word propaganda is synonymous with political people and politicians who use news in their favor to spread some information in their favor. And I feel like the people who did tweet, especially people like Sachin Tendulkar and Lata Mangeshkar, were both recipients of the Ratna, if I'm not mistaken. They should not have got into this dialogue. They shouldn't have, because they are icons. So that's what I want to say. That I can't judge why people didn't speak up, but I can say I do because I feel for people. And a lot of times, yes, people say, "Aren't you afraid?" I'm not afraid because what are you going to do to me? You'll come after me. You'll do what you're doing to everyone. Um, Whatever's written in my destiny will happen. But if my voice can help someone have a better life, so be it. I'm not a selfish person. And maybe I'm not, like I said, I'm not a superstar that has so many people that I look after. But yes, I do look after some people and I do worry about them sometimes. But it's a balance that you have to think of sometimes. You have to think of, if I keep quiet, there are millions whose lives are going to get affected. And if I speak up, there are few people who will get affected. So sometimes you need to make that decision and you need to be honest to yourself.
But it's interesting you said that a few people get affected. Is there any time that Akil tells you, okay, push back? I don't want my wife sort of, getting arrested. Does that ever happen?
I think not just Akil, my family tells me that, and they worry for me. But honestly speaking, I'm not doing anything anti-establishment. I'm not really. I would never do anything anti-establishment because I believe in the process of the law. I'm a law-abiding citizen, and maybe I speak out is because I follow the law very well. Even in my work ethics are by the book, by the law. Everything I do is very stringent, and I've never done anything to profit illegally or unethically, and I think that's what gives me the courage to speak up because when you don't do anything illegal or unethical, it makes your life simpler. Maybe you have lesser in your life and you don't have as much as you should have, but you have a peace of mind and less stress. And for me, that is happiness, and that is being rich. Truly rich is being when you have less stress and peace of mind, to have less materialistically, but to have a clean conscience and to live your life, with courage.
So, in that clean conscience, if we're going to, say optimism or pessimism, when you look at others around you, and I know you're constantly tweeting the real heroes and the real heroes, where do you stand? Is there going to be an awakening, or it's going to carry on like this?
I think I'm always going to be honest to myself. Like I mentioned before, I'd rather be honest than be popular. Um, it's better to live like a lion for one day of your life than a sheep for 100 days. And I'm not afraid of dying. I've never been afraid of dying, whether it's been COVID or otherwise, because I believe that our lives were written before we took birth, the time of death, and whatever happened in between. How we react to our lives is what makes our lives. So if we react badly, we're going to have a bad life. We react well, we're going to have a great life. And everything is a learning, and I'm learning, still learning.
I think it's a wonderful thing that you've sort of put forward. And I wanted to ask you sort of, we're living in extremely polarized times, and you're someone who's sort of standing up for what you believe, you're speaking out. Tell me, how is it affecting your kids, and how do you sort of see them with their friends? And do you think it's kind of sort of making them more brave, or is it making them more cautious?
So it's interesting you asked me this question, because my children the other day asked me this question, because a friend of mine was over and she was like, "Aren't you afraid when you tweet? They'll come after you, they'll do this to you, they'll do that." And I looked at her, and my children were there, and I told my children, when you speak the truth, you should never be afraid, okay? Because when you speak the truth, stand tall always, and stand with courage. Don't let bullies bully you, because that's what bullies do. Bullies only get away because people let them bully you. Stand tall, speak the truth, and take the consequences. And if you're my children, that's the way you live your life. So I hope they imbibe that, because I truly want them to be truthful in their life and honest, and not harm anyone for anything, whether it's personal gain or any other thing. Because I wasn't brought up that way. My parents brought us all up to look after everyone, be charitable, be kind, be compassionate, care about everyone. And so when I see all this negativity, it's really painful that I'm seeing this great country that we fought for. We fought for our independence. We keep talking what happened in the last 70 years, but on the other hand, we have a section of people who keep referring to, who want to take us back to the last 1500 years. And I think it's important that we move on, and if India truly has to be a great country, and we have to beat China, who's at our border all the time interfering with us, and we need to be more united, like the Chinese. The one thing the Chinese are is united, so we need to be united within, and be number one country, bigger than America, bigger than Russia, bigger than Brazil, bigger than China. And we can only do this if we have leadership that recognizes unity is the need of the hour, and not division. And that's what I am for. not dividing poor from rich, wealth creators to workers, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, farmers, industrialists. The last 6 years, we've only been divided. And I say this because I have friends in the BJP who are very close friends of mine. And I always tell them that. I always say, why are you dividing India? I have nothing against the BJP otherwise. You want to profit, you want to make money. All political parties do that. The Congress did it, the BJP is doing it. That's none of my business. What I'm against is this division and this infighting amongst our people. And that's what gets my goat, to be honest. When we start to get unrest among the people. And that's what I don't want.
So we can keep talking to citizen Farah for a very, very long time. But Farah, I think one quick question before we go to mommy Farah in a way. We read in an interview that, your kids are, I think, about 15 and 18 now, no sleepovers,
Right.
no branded clothes. And I know, I mean, we both have kids and we know the kind of pressure that comes, especially from peers around them. So how intense is the pressure and how are you holding on?
Well, my kids now know that their mother is a little different from most mothers, and because I've never lived my life according to the rules. I believe I was not born to fit in, I was born to stand out. So if everyone is doing something, I want to do the opposite, right? So saying that, yes, I want my kids to have a simple upbringing. I want them to realize the value of working for what they achieve in their lives and getting it. And my parents brought us up that way. And I feel that if I can do that, I would have actually given them the best education, to learn to be simple and not crave for things they can't afford to buy to impress people who are not contributing to their livelihood. So it's okay to do all of that when you achieve something and you want to celebrate, and you reward yourself. But just to have your parents buy you things and look like you have arrived, I think all kids should be, I think their parents should hold them back and not allow that to happen.
Farah Khan, thank you so much. Stay outspoken, stay brave, stay as spunky as you are. I think we need many, many, many more people like you. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
May our tribe increase.
I was going to say the same thing. May the tribe increase. Exactly the same thing. No.
I want to say thank you for having me. May our tribe increase, and may we have peace in this country. May our protests be peaceful. May the government do a complete turnaround. I still hope and pray that magic happens, and may the government actually, lift all people up and take India forward, because we need India to go forward.